Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She is coming straight from the Berg. She is Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend?
Not much. I mean, we were just talking about it before we came on here that I went back to the tattoo shop on Friday, and I am in the itchy aftercare part of the portion of it, which is my least favorite because no matter what you do, it itches. It drives you fucking insane,
Yeah.
and
You
you
look like a
can't.
weirdo when you start banging on it. You ever start like
Yes, yeah.
slapping your tattoo and you're just like, God, I'm glad I'm not doing this in public.
You do the like tapping of the fingertips. That's what I usually do.
Oh,
It's like you have to, and it literally does nothing. It does
yeah.
nothing, but I guess in your brain it's something. But that's my least favorite part of the whole process. I mean, I don't think that you never really get used to it. I mean, I'm 14 and now is I think this is the most recent one's 14, but it just never gets easier, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's worth it though.
Yeah, they are, except when you're getting them done, you're like, "Oh my god, this is like the worst idea I've ever had in my life."
It's like I am a full-on masochist right now.
Well, guys, welcome into the podcast. For those of you that are new here, this is a podcast about professional wrestling where Shay and I take on your questions about what is happening in the world of WWE and AEW and everything else in between in the world of professional wrestling. We answer your questions. We give you control of the show and hearing what you want to hear. We have a lot of questions about John Cena and John Cena joining the dark side. I hope you're prepared to answer those questions tonight.
Oh, yeah, we got quite a few of those for good reason because it's a bit of a big deal, but
Yeah, big deal.
yeah, you could say that. So yeah, just get right into it.
Let's do it.
All right, we're switching up the order a little bit today. We're gonna start off with Mike's question, and as promised, the very first one in we actually already have another one like this. So I'm gonna kind of like call an audible here. I'm gonna combine Mike's question and then Jeff sent some questions in too, but they both have to do with Cena's promos. So for Mike's
Mm,
part of his question, were we satisfied with Cena's reason for why he did what he did? And
hmm
Jeff's part of it, he felt it was a very believable promo as a heel. You believe pretty much everything he was saying. Was it just him, or were we also able to feel the disdain in his voice when he was talking about the fans? Also, I think that was his
mm,
best promo ever. So, a lot of discourse about
yeah.
Cena's promo. Yeah, you could tell that he's been wanting to probably do that for quite a very long time, just a long time. Um, on Mike's part of it, was I satisfied with his reason? Yes and no. Like, yes, because I feel like that's kind of the way they had to take it. But
Right.
I feel like, unless I'm missing something, I feel like I didn't remember hearing this in the promo. I wish he would have kind of leaned into the I only care about me winning this championship, so I knew I had to like sell my soul to the devil essentially. Because I feel like that's what we talked about where we thought it was going to go, where
Right.
he was like, "Well, I'm in it for me now. I've got nothing to lose anymore." And I feel like he kind of just went more into the fans, which was still good though. I did like it because I mean, you can kind of lump it all into he's out for himself now. I just wish he kind of would have leaned a little more into the whole that's why I'm going to win this title is because I'm in it for me now and I don't really give a shit about if I sold my soul to the devil or not cuz I got nothing to lose, but overall I'd say yeah, that was probably one of if not his best promo of his career for sure.
Yeah.
Um and on Jeff's part of it, yeah, I was definitely able to tell the disdain. It was very believable, very palpable, and the crowd was not having it one bit.
The crowd really lent a lot to the moment,
Yeah.
which was really cool. That crowd was on fire for Brussels, I thought. And I thought as far as being satisfied with the promo, I was satisfied with the promo because it did something different. I was expecting John Cena to come out and kind of be like, you know, in almost like a delusional state. Like you said, he made no mention of the fact that he is trying to go after this 17th world championship. And I and explaining the whole situation to people, I kind of am using that me as a fan, am
Yeah.
using that as a reason to why he did what he did. It's just the pressure of trying to obtain, not only obtain the 17th championship, but to do it when the time is ticking away, when the window is actually closing, like we're actually gonna get an end date, and you have till this end date to accomplish this goal in winning this championship or not, because you yourself said that it is going to be the end at this specific date and not a day later. There
Yeah.
will be no second chances, there will be no part 2, there will be no reunion, so it has to happen by this date. And John Cena is a man of his word. I was glad that it wasn't sort of like a delusional promo.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, why don't you understand that I'm doing it for this reason? He
Yeah.
kind of leaned into the idea that he has developed a disdain for the fan base that he has cultivated himself,
Yeah.
and that kind of goes into Jeff's question, um about whether or not it felt like he was getting a weight off of his shoulder.
Yeah.
But
Oh yes.
this is very scary, because what if the John Cena from before, that was all about the kids, hustle, loyalty, respect, and always doing things the right way. What if that was all a lie? What if the
Mm,
John Cena that took time for the fans and understood the responsibility that he had as a celebrity, and you never heard of a bad interaction with John Cena or him being disrespectful to the fans? But what if that was just him understanding the part of his job and his responsibility, not really
yeah.
part of his personality, but he understood that if he wanted to keep his success, he would have to operate that way. So what if that was all just a ruse? What if it was a lie?
Ooh, a lot of people's childhoods are ruined now.
Well, I mean, the way he leaned into those kids in Brussels,
Eh,
even the ones that were wearing his merchandise,
yeah.
you would think that he really just does not care about the kids at this point.
He really said fuck them kids.
Yeah, he really did.
He did, but I feel like my favorite part of that promo though, was that very kind of on the nose where it's like, I'm done doing what you guys want me to do. This is all about me. Like you get exactly what you guys deserve, and it's nothing. You get no new music, you don't get new gear, you
Right,
get nothing, and that's what you deserved. And I'm like, that's kind of like an FU, especially to the internet wrestling
right.
community, because people are like, well, now he's got to get new gear, now he's got to get new music and whatever. And that was literally him just being like, no, fuck you. It's still going to be the same shit. It's just
Yeah,
by on my
yeah.
rules now.
I thought it was kind of funny he went with that, but it makes it makes perfect sense, because why, as a bad guy, would you want to give the fans what they want?
Exactly.
You don't give them what they want. They want new music, they want new gear, they want new colors, they want new graphics, they want it, and you give them nothing. And matter of fact, you give them the same, which is kind of anti everything you are now.
Yeah.
You still saw the last time is now, the
The
never give
towel.
up. Yeah, the towel and the hustle, loyalty, respect. But none of that is what he stands for now. It's
Yeah.
just it's just in a way that is an even bigger fuck you, because it's like regurgitating hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So it's an even bigger fuck you to the fan base and to the internet wrestling community, who has this idea that things have to go a certain way, and it must have been funny to see their reactions when they don't get what they want.
They probably had a full on meltdown online, and I just thankfully
Probably.
didn't get to see it because it's like, guys, you're really proving his point right now. Like, you were literally
Yeah,
just playing right into his hands.
pretty much,
But no, that was a great promo. It's going to be interesting to see how this continues to develop because, oh boy, it's going to be something else.
for sure.
Uh, do we care about another tournament in AEW for Omega's next opponent? No. I'll just be honest, I don't. It's just they have kind of just ruined tournaments. Maybe not the Continental Classic because they at least can do that right, but I feel like everything else it was always just it seemed like for the longest time if they needed an answer to something it's got to be a tournament. It's always got to be a
Right.
tournament. It's got to be an eliminator. It's got to be this. It's just like there is such a thing as oversaturating tournaments, and AEW found a way to do it because every time I hear now, oh, we got a new tournament for this opponent or for this number one contender, I just audibly groan because
Yeah.
I don't want to see another one. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, when too much of something is not good, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it starts off good or bad. It's just when you play it over too many times, people get bored with it. But the thing is, it's like, what else can they do? They can do like a battle royal to
Yeah.
determine a number one contender. Um, they can simply just have someone win a succession of matches for a couple weeks, and then when they say, well, this person has won 3 4 matches in a row, they are in line for a international championship bout. Or they, that's what they do. They confront the champion. Like if somebody was to go up to Keshta and be like, hey, I've beaten so and so, so and so, and so and so, I think that's put me in line to get at least a shot at that international championship. I would even believe that more. It's just,
Yeah.
again, the tournament bracket style thing. Like you said, the Continental Classic works out well. I would like that to see that stick around. I would like to see that expanded,
Yes.
so it's on the scale of like a G1 climax like they have in New Japan,
Hmm.
where it's actually like a full on 3 month summer deal, where it's a whole tournament and it takes up a chunk of your programming, because it kind of fits in to what AEW's mode of operations is and what they are lacking. They are
Yeah.
lacking in storytelling, but they are what their mode of operation is putting together these random matches. Okay, well, now you have a giant tournament that you can build storytelling around and also have these random matchups happen that eat up a lot of your programming. But yeah, just too many of those mini tournaments to all determine contenders for the championship when there's so many different ways you can go. I feel like it's becoming a crutch.
Exactly. And I feel like unfortunately, and we always say it where it's just like you hate always just generalizing and like dumping on AEW, but they just make it so easy. They do have a very bad habit of, well, we'll just fall back on this because it worked before. Oh, well,
Right.
we'll just fall back on this for the 50th time because it worked the other 49 times. It's like, okay, well, at some point, like you said, people are going to get sick and tired of you guys relying on the very worn out crutch that is labeled with 5,000 different things because you guys just can't just try something new or try something original. I mean, if it's going to bomb, it's going to bomb, but at least you know better instead of just, okay, well, it's old reliable, but now I'm bored to tears, which is
Yeah.
unfortunately some of their storylines right now, which I think we'll get into later. I think we have a couple questions about that. But yeah, it's just no, no more fucking tournaments, please. I'm
No more
begging you.
tournaments.
No more tournaments. I'm done. I mean, unless you're gonna do like the women's like Japan and America tournament again, that'd be great. They did that great and then never did it again. So I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, they
But
even had that match at not a, it wasn't a tournament, but it was like a multi-person match at Wrestle Dynasty that Momo Watanabe ended up winning.
yeah,
Um, it's just like they rely on a lot of those multi-person and tournaments and things like that, and it's just kind of, you want to see them see if they can put their creative juices to work.
yeah, because these are the same problems we had with WWE back in the day because it was like, oh well, we'll just throw a bunch of people in a battle royale because at least it gives them TV time. It's like,
Right.
okay, but like how many stupid women's battle royals did we have to see, especially around WrestleMania season, where it's like, oh, we got to showcase them all, and it's like, are they really though? Like,
Yeah.
so maybe they can learn, but maybe they won't. Who knows? I can never tell with them. So, SmackDown last week, we saw a couple of teaser vignettes, which I feel like if anybody with a noodle would kind of figure out it was Phoenix and hopefully Aleister Black. Do we think they debut before or after WrestleMania? I feel like the worst part is I feel like they'll try and debut Phoenix as soon as possible, but I still think,
Right.
like you have said many times before, I think they'll wait on Aleister until after WrestleMania, hopefully, because, and I mean, unless they have something big for him, then
Right.
perhaps, but I feel like we're getting a little too close now where we're only it's hard to believe only a month away, like almost only a month away. So unless they have a very big, sudden, sensational story for either one of them, I would just wait until after WrestleMania because let's be honest, the last few Raw after Manias have been lacking a little bit. We're now
Yeah.
people are kind of pissed because this used to be like the big thing. It was who's coming up, who's debuting, who's getting called up from NXT, who's coming back, and that's been severely lacking lately. So maybe, just maybe, you tease them now. Don't do anything else until after WrestleMania, and then have them show up because people aren't going to remember. They're going to be too worried about what's going on in WrestleMania. And then they show up, and you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, I forgot about that. They had that teaser before WrestleMania came around. So I would wait, but maybe they know something we don't. I mean, I would hope they would. If we knew stuff, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, I would probably wait. I've been saying that for a while, and I think that's what they did with I think that was their reasoning for debuting Ricky Saints in NXT rather than the main roster, is because they didn't want to have the illusion that they would have something for him to do on WrestleMania. And then also, if they didn't put him on WrestleMania, have that perception that they were already wasting him or
Yeah.
fumbling him because they didn't have something for him to do at WrestleMania. So I think that's what they are going to do. I don't know if the second vignette is Aleister Black. I'm pretty certain. I want to say like 85% sure. I'm
Yeah.
leaning towards Aleister Black. I know the other one is definitely Ray Phoenix. So
Yeah,
I'm
they
really
weren't trying to be sneaky about that one. That was a
yeah.
little too
I mean
obvious.
it's so hard these days with the internet and everything like that. It's very hard to be secretive and try to develop a surprise, especially for wrestling, because the internet just likes to ruin stuff. So
Yeah.
um it's more I'm more interested in, if it is Aleister Black, how are they gonna where does he fit in? What is he gonna be doing? Is he because Dominic's trying to get more people in the Judgment Day, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's trying to incorporate more people in the Judgment Day. We already know how good Aleister Black is when he has a group behind him. So maybe that's a route I'm more interested in what exactly is the plan more so. I already know the debut is going to kill it, so I'm
Yeah.
not concerned with the debut. I'm more concerned with the plan of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes patience is key.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so Tony Hinchcliffe doing a roast of WrestleMania. Are we sure Vince is completely gone? I know it'll work as a tie-in to his Netflix comedy special, so this was a Netflix idea. Yeah, they unfortunately do like those like cross branding
Uh,
things. I mean, for all we know, they might just be like, "Hey, anything about him is completely off limits," because I can imagine the shitstorm on social media that could arise if they even bring his name up on anything. So I mean, this
it's
could
not it's
go,
it's not going to be televised,
yeah,
so
but
they
somebody's
could
gonna
really
be
go
on,
any route.
yeah, but somebody's probably gonna have a phone out unless they're doing that thing where they lock the phones, which that might
Right.
be it. But because then at that point, if something happens, you just have to go off of somebody's word and are they actually
Yeah,
being
yeah.
truthful or not? So it's not as big of an issue. I could fully see them doing that, honestly, just because there could be a lot of combustible elements in that one. So might
Yeah,
be
I
better
just
just to
wish.
keep the phone out of people's hands.
Right, yeah, which they a lot of comedy situations do that, where they make the audience lock their phone in lock boxes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I'm pretty sure, especially with like um you know Mike said, he feels like maybe Vince is involved, but technically Vince isn't involved. And Triple H is more laxed when it
Yeah.
comes to rules and stuff like that, but you don't want to take any chances. Somebody might say something. Tony might say, yeah, we already know he already thinks Puerto Rico is a floating island of garbage. So I think
Yeah.
that was a lot of people's like that's kind of like there's been a lot of blowback
Yeah.
for this announcement. They're not excited for it because this guy has said some things that people don't really jive with.
No.
I mean,
Understandably so.
yeah, I mean, but what are you gonna do? What are you
Yeah.
gonna do? I mean, all of these companies are assholes. Like that's the
Yeah.
best way I could put it. Like you can't put your faith in these companies to be upstanding citizens and caring about people's feelings. They just care about the bottom line. They just care about a dollar. It's better that we kind of recognize this instead of fighting this with like performative rage bait. It's just
Yeah.
it's because guaranteed nobody's gonna remember this a week after WrestleMania.
No.
Nobody's gonna remember it. Even if somebody says something crazy, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 days. It's gonna dominate social media, and then something else is gonna happen. And we'll
Yeah.
move on to that thing. That's the way social media and this anger and rage bait stuff on social media works, is that it happens so often. It's just like we move on to the next thing so fast, so who really cares?
Yeah. Exactly. It's just in a blessing and a curse. People have the attention span of a peanut. So
Yeah, really.
what the fuck could go wrong? Like you said, they only care about the money, so it's just like
Yeah, that's it. They really just care
whatever.
about money.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just capitalism at its finest.
Yep.
Speaking of capitalism, great segue into the next question. So apparently, this must be for WrestleMania. It's $8,000 for a meet and greet with Triple H, or $25,000 for an intimate meal at a five-star restaurant with John Cena. Besides the green shirt guy, which we all know who that is, who the fuck is paying these prices? And if you had the cash, which would you do?
uh,
Oh,
uh, for me, I would go with the Triple H one
me too.
because I'm not only is it the cheaper option, I'm asking him how can I get a job. Like
Yeah,
he's the guy. He's the guy that can tell me yes or no. I need this from
yeah.
you. Sitting with John Cena would just be like inspirational. He's gonna tell me about how he never gave up,
Maybe not
and
now, but
I mean, I don't know. He might just tell me to go fuck myself. I don't know. Like I just yeah, but I feel like for me, I'm more concerned about like getting it used to be, which kind of sucks. It used to be I wanted to work obviously for Vince McMahon in the WWE, but now
yeah.
it's kind of morphed into not only do I get to like it's still WWE, but it's like Triple H. This guy, I was a Triple H. Triple H was my favorite wrestler when
Hmm.
everybody hated Triple H.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
be able to be like to get a chance to not only be in the same room as him, but to talk business with him and to see how somebody in my position can be an asset to the WWE and not have to worry about, oh, this guy is a psychopath,
Yeah.
just absolutely filthy, diabolical degenerate, and I don't have to worry about that with Triple H. So, but for me, I'd probably go with the Triple H option.
Yeah, I would too. I would definitely want to like pick his brain and see what the inner workings of the creative and all that stuff is, because I think that'd be very interesting to learn about. Because I could imagine there's a lot more than we don't see and more that they clearly don't pull the curtain back on. So it'd be cool to kind of
Right.
like pick his brain a little bit. And I agree with you. He was always one of my favorites too. So I always said if people were picking Shawn Michaels, I was always picking Triple H. He was just always my guy. So I
Well,
fully
yeah,
agree.
I don't know what it was. It was just everybody hated Triple H, and I'm like,
It's
this
probably
guy's
the
kind
probably the Reign of Doom or the Reign of Terror.
maybe, but I was just always like, this guy's kind of badass. Like he's
Yeah.
just like, like he was badass to me because like he would I don't want to say he cheated a lot, but he kind of always tried to like game the system,
Yeah.
and I always thought like, why not? I mean, that's the easiest, way to do it. And especially like, oh, you married the boss's daughter and then you became like so powerful in the company, remembering the Helmsley McMahon era where they were in
Yeah.
control of Raw every Monday night. I was just like, it's genius. So
Yeah.
when everybody was hating Triple H, I was a big fan of Triple H.
Yeah. See, cerebral assassin. They didn't call him that
Yep,
for nothing. So,
exactly.
but now I get it. I was right there with you. All right. So just the way Mike worded this last question made me giggle a little bit. On a scale of 0 to 0.1, how excited are we for the Moxley Copeland street fight technically tomorrow? I don't why are we doing this again? Why are we doing this again?
Ay,
I
ay, ay,
don't
ay.
understand it at all. Uh I don't
I,
I don't
I,
care.
I,
I don't
I don't,
care.
I don't,
Why are
I
we
don't
doing
get it.
this?
I don't
What?
get it. I don't get how, even if you were to take the belt off of Moxley and put it on Copeland, how does that help the perception of your company?
And also, why would you just waste another match if you couldn't just
Yeah, yeah,
do it?
yeah.
You could have done all the stupid shit in that match at Revolution in a street fight on a dynamite, and no one would bat an eye at all. So why do we have to rehash this again for literally no reason whatsoever?
It just feels like you realize that the match at Revolution was a mistake, so you want to rectify your mistake by throwing it in a match as soon as possible.
I guess, yeah. Like I don't.
I don't. The Death Rider situation has gone stale.
Yeah,
And again, like, okay, I don't understand how even possibly, even the perception that this could possibly happen is damaging. Possibly putting your world title on a 50-year-old, former WWE, current WWE Hall of Famer.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that doesn't help the perception of your company at all. It should be on somebody young. It
yeah,
should be on somebody that's probably been in the company maybe since day one, or at least hasn't been in the other company at all.
yeah.
Someone like maybe a Jay White, or you should have maybe never taken the belt off of Swerve.
Yeah,
MJF is an option. You
yeah.
know, you do have these options where you don't have to go and put the world title, or potentially put the world title, on a 50-year-old Adam Copeland.
Yeah, I still wish they would have went the route that could it have been slightly predictable, yes, but I really would have loved if they had Christian come out and tried to cash in whatever we want to call this, the contract, I guess, but have Jay sign
Mm.
it instead and win that way because it really wouldn't shock anybody. It wouldn't not make sense because he's always said his sights were set on the title. So if he saw the opportunity, why wouldn't he have taken it? Like, I don't get why they couldn't have just done that. I think everybody would have preferred that over the shit that we got instead. Like,
Well, to expand upon that, if we're gonna have something that's kind of similar to the Money in the Bank briefcase, why don't we do this? You win the contract, but also a detriment of the contract is you have to defend the contract at any
yeah,
given turn. So, like, anybody can challenge you for the contract, and
yeah,
if they beat you, they can sign their name for the contract.
that would be
You know,
fun. I would like that. That'd be really
it,
good. It's just something new. Like,
yeah, it kind of reminds me of the hardcore title, or the 24/7 championship,
yeah,
where it was defended at any opportunity. It didn't matter whether you were in the ring or backstage. You could do that with that same contract, whereas the
yeah,
person that is holding the contract can turn it in, but they won't have the safety of holding on to it for an entire year and doing nothing with it. They also have to defend it from other people that want to take it from them, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So that would actually work if you want to do a situation where Jay White can come in and steal the contract and sign it for himself, because that was somebody else had that same exact theory of having Jay White come out and sign the contract on his name and thus taking over the contract. But people are like, how can that happen if he's not the one that won the contract. And it's
Mm,
sort of it is sort of similar to like what we saw on Monday with
yeah.
Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca
Yeah.
Belair. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting that they did that, but again, it's not legally binding. She literally signed her name in a slot that there is not a signature there for. So just
Mm,
because you sign your name on something, it automatically becomes legally binding that you're in the match. Like
yeah.
so for AEW purposes, I would love to see something like that where that contract is not only you could either cash it in that same night or hold on to it. And if you hold on to it, you run the risk because you'll also have to defend it from anyone that wants to take it from you.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
exactly.
and then on top of that, we won't have to worry about whether someone is deserving of a number one contendership, whether they're deserving of a title shot. No, they just went out there and took it because that is the whole purpose of this contract.
Yeah. I That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. See, if they're listening, we're here. We're giving out ideas. Like,
This is free stuff, Tony Khan.
yeah, like we're trying to help you, dude. If you couldn't figure that out, but
Yeah.
anyway. All right. So that was all of Mike's questions. So Mike, thank
Hey,
you as
by
always.
the way, when this comes out, it'll already be Wednesday, and I believe it is Mike's birthday. So
Yeah.
happy
Hey,
birthday to
happy birthday,
Mike.
Mike. We'll be yelling at you on Twitter as well,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
now you get the official podcast shout out for your birthday.
There you go, buddy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All right, so now we're going to move on to Jeff's questions. I almost went out of order there for a minute. All right, so we talked about the Cena promo. His next question is, which announced match for WrestleMania do you feel is going to be the biggest stinker for him?
Mm.
And he already says, for disclaimer, forget his disdain for Charlotte, but he said Charlotte and Tiffany's match because neither of them are making me want to see this match. Yeah, they're not really doing this match any favors, which is very odd, but yeah, you kind of forget that that is a thing that's actually happening. Let me see. Let's just pull up what we already know right
Yeah,
now.
because I'm struggling to kind of find a match that I am not kind of wanting to see. The only thing I kind of this is gonna anger some Rhea Ripley fans, but I just kind of want to see Bianca and Io by themselves.
I mean, as much as I'd love to argue, and as much as I would, I mean, a triple threat would be good, but they really need to sell me on how is Rhea justified in getting into this match, because
Yeah.
if not, you're going to kind of play into the stupid internet fans that are like, she doesn't deserve this. This isn't blah blah blah. But it's like, you guys kind of aren't really helping out too much, because as much as I love the fact that she was being a little shit and signing that contract, I'm just like, okay, but your name wasn't on it, so what does that mean? So I don't know what they're doing. So hopefully they sell me on that a little more, because if not, it's gonna be a little. I mean, of course, I'll be happy she's there, but I'm also just gonna be like, eh, why though? Okay, so the only ones they have right now are Cody and Cena, Tiffany and Charlotte, Gunther and Jay, and Io and Bianca, and most likely Rhea.
Mm.
Honestly, I'd kind of have to agree with Jeff. Not even for the fact that obviously neither of us are the biggest Charlotte Flair fans, but it's just they really haven't been doing this match justice at all.
Right. Yeah.
They're not doing anything that's like, oh, I can't wait for this match at WrestleMania. It's just like, oh, that's a match at WrestleMania. Okay, cool, I
Right.
guess. Like, so I'm not going to say it's the biggest. I wouldn't say it's the biggest stinker. I don't think it's going to be a bad match. It's just I'm not excited about this match because they're not giving me a reason to be excited about this
Right,
match.
right. Yeah, I probably would fall in line with that. I don't think necessarily that this match will be a stinker. I
Yeah,
think this match will be good. I just think in terms of the matches that are advertised already, it's hard to figure out which one we're maybe invested in less
yeah,
compared to like everything else. Even like the Jay Uso Gunther match has been giving us something to
yeah.
get invested in. I feel like this one it's like leaning towards they're starting to ramp it up, but maybe they started a little too late because
Yeah.
everybody's so impatient.
Yeah, that's the problem. You kind of have to deal with the ADHD brain. You kind of have
Yeah.
to quick burst, but that isn't always sustainable, unfortunately. But
Right, yeah.
so yeah, that would just be my pick, just for the interest level. I wouldn't say it's going to be the worst match because obviously that's only four matches off a 2 night pay per view. So who knows what we're going to be getting? There might be others where I'm just like, I don't know why that's on the card, but for now, I'll just say that one because I'm not as interested in it as the rest. But maybe that could change. But who knows about that one?
Hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna flip flop some of his questions because his third question would be a very good ending one for him. So, we're gonna take his two of these questions and smush them together because they're pretty much the same topic. So, is it just him, or does it feel like they're positioning Io Sky to be a transitional champion? He can't explain it, but with the
Mm.
current storyline between her, Rhea, and Bianca, it feels like WWE is either positioning Rhea or Bianca to walk out as champ at WrestleMania. And to add to that, why does Rhea need to be involved in the match at all? Bianca and Io would tear the house down without her. If they really want Rhea on Mania's card, then there has to be a better opponent instead of inserting her into a match that doesn't need her. Yeah, the second part of that I kind of touched on a little bit. I really need them to try and convince me that she has a justification for being in this match because I love her, but it was your own stupidity that cost you the title. Like,
Mm.
it's pretty obvious. Like, if you would have just, I mean, granted, there was the whole disqualification thing should have happened. I still stand by that, but it's just like you took your eye off the ball, you lost it, and now, kind of what Adam Pierce was saying a little bit, you're kind of acting like a petulant child a little bit. So there, if it's guaranteed, because there might not even be a guarantee she makes it to the card, but I feel like the way that they're going, it's going to be a triple threat. But I really need them to like give me a good justification as to why she should be on this title
Mm.
match because I love Rhea, but give me the reason why. But beyond that, I kind of agree with them. I feel like I don't really see Io walking out of WrestleMania as champion, regardless of if it's a triple threat or just Bianca. But I don't know. Like, I feel like they kind of do her dirty sometimes.
Mm.
I mean, I'm kind of shocked that she even won the title in the first place, but that's just me. So I don't know. I mean, anything can happen. It's WrestleMania season, so
Yeah.
stranger things have happened. But I kind of hope not, because I mean, Io is a great champion. I mean, she had a great reign going into WrestleMania last year, so I feel like I don't know. I guess I just find it kind of odd that they gave it to her at this point in the build up for this year, but clearly they have a reason, and we're just sitting here like, okay, I guess we'll just see how it plays out, I guess.
Yeah. That's the crazy part is like throughout this entire thing, like Io Sky has been the best part of this entire situation, as confusing as it is, because when she comes out and Rhea and Bianca are so focused on each other, and then Io's like, "Hey, I'm here. Okay,
Yeah.
you guys are not paying attention to me, so I'm gonna slap the shit out of you."
Yeah.
So like to me, like Io's been the most entertaining part of this entire thing.
Hmm.
Um so it's just like that's kind of like why I'm just not feeling the whole Rhea Ripley inclusion. It's not that I don't want to see her as champion. Again, it kind of is like that AEW situation of like why take the belt off of them in the first place? You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
she should have maybe never lost it at SummerSlam because I
Hmm.
mean look at Liv Morgan now. Liv Morgan really doesn't really need the women's world title to be on where she's at in her status with the company. Liv Morgan is not only one of the best performers in WWE, but she's one of the most important performers in WWE, I believe. And that's just because she's been putting in the work. But I feel like maybe they're just doing too much to try to see where they can stick the women's world championship. That's why it's gone from Liv to Rhea to now Io and to possibly like with the question, could it be a transition into going to Bianca or back to Rhea? We don't know, but I just go back to I just wish this was let's have a banger match between Bianca and Io And then we could still kind of include Rhea Ripley, but let Rhea Ripley be like the person that's going to be the shoe in for Backlash after
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Because again, this is the thing. Like, a lot of people and a lot of fans have to realize that not everybody's going to be able to be on WrestleMania. It's just
Yeah.
impossible to do that, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. We go through this every year, it seems like. That,
Every year.
yeah, every fucking year, and yet
Mhm.
it's always something. But yeah, it's gonna, like I said, they gotta convince me. If they can do it, I'll give them props. I'll be like, all right, now she has a good reason for it. But
Mhm.
if not, then it's gonna be a little fishy, and I hope that's not the case.
Mhm.
All right, so let me make sure I don't forget that question. So I'm gonna put that there. All right, so who can believably beat Mercedes Monet for any of her titles? It feels like she's calling the shots in her booking and is making sure no one has a chance to take one or all of those belts off of her. I get it; she's the highest paid female wrestler in the world, which she does not deserve to be, but just hands it up half the time, phones it in, and hardly ever puts in effort during her matches. She's become boring as hell to me. All right,
Mm.
so just tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, he emptied the whole clip there.
Yeah, yeah. See, I passed it off to him. I did enough of that for
Uh,
a while, but yeah, I think I even it's funny that he mentioned the whole booking and the creative thing because I pretty much did say I think it was to mom and I was when we were watching last week. I said at this rate, it's just going to come down to who she wants to lose to
right.
because again, we I don't know if people forget or they just don't want to mention that she did pretty much say she has creative control. So it's just a matter of who she feels like losing to at this point. And
Yeah.
hell, if she didn't want to lose to Stat, then what the fuck are we doing here? Because I genuinely don't know if there's anybody that can believably beat her at this point, which is not good. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, well, and it's tough because I can see where Jeff's coming from because there have definitely been some promos and matches where you're like, yeah, she's definitely phoning it in. But I think I pretty much touched on this when we were talking about her match at Revolution with Momo. I said, when she gives a shit, she gives a shit. It's pretty much like Charlotte all over again, unfortunately, where
Yeah.
she has to care. And when she cares, it's great. But when she doesn't care, who boy, can you
You
tell?
could tell. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
tell when she doesn't care.
Yeah, so I wish I had the magic answer, but I really don't know who could beat her other than Chris Statlander at this point
Yeah.
because those she's the one that has had the best matches with Mercedes bar none in AEW, so it really wouldn't be a problem to put those two back together, but right now Stat's a little busy, but in the meantime it's like who the hell else is left? There really isn't many,
Yeah.
if any.
Yeah. I think AEW needs to put some focus on bolstering their women's division, adding more women to their women's division because they could
Yeah.
use some contenders. I think you hit it on the head when you said that she kind of is in control of who she wants to lose to. So it's kind of hard to tell who she wants to lose to because she's kind of ran through almost everybody. And
Yeah.
she's had, like you said, the best matches with Stat. So if it were up to me, I'd probably go with Stat. But that's the danger of two things. It's the danger of giving someone creative control over their booking and the direction of their booking.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, it's like, all right, let's get the belt off of her because she's not giving a shit. And then she gives a shit and she pulls out a great performance. And then you realize, damn, she really is good, but it's all determined on whether or not she wants to care or whether or not she wants to put in the work. So how do you work with that?
Yeah.
Like, how is that productive? How is that beneficial in any way? It's like you're constantly going to be in limbo.
Yeah, exactly. It's just Uh, I don't know. And it's tough because you mentioned, oh, they need to bolster their women's division. Well, they just let two of them go. You let Layla Hirsch go and you let Abaddon go, which is a fucking shame. Because, I mean, again, I get with Abaddon, it's kind of like you have to use them in specific kind of situations and whatever, but you could have at least done something. And Layla Hirsch was good. It was just a
Mhm.
shame because she had the knee injury and whatever, but still, it's just like, guys, what are we doing here? Like, you can't just keep focusing on the same five women and
Mhm.
expect it to work because it doesn't fucking work.
And not only that, you can't just wait until someone from WWE decides that they're unhappy with WWE and potentially are looking to go other places. You can't just rely on that.
Because
It's
what if
just
they
not going to work.
don't?
You're going to have to develop your homegrown talent. You have to develop people like Queen Aminata. You
Yes.
have to start using Billy Starks.
Yeah.
I mean, Megan Bain is fantastic, but you got her running around with Penelope Ford, and it's like, what are we doing here?
And you have her
Um,
in the title picture already after like what, not even 6 matches? Like, what are we
yeah,
doing?
and unless she wins, you kind of kill her momentum.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
which she's not winning. That's the thing, she's not. Like she's good, but it's also like
not only that, like
okay, not that
what
good, not yet.
what what are you doing with Camille? Someone that is
Yeah.
in a movie, you know?
Yeah, she doesn't exist. Don't worry about her.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
fine. She doesn't fucking exist. But I don't know. It's just like there's so many questions that I wish we had answers to, but I don't think we're getting any answers. It's just ugh. Anyway. All right, so Jeff's last question: if we could play D&D with any five superstars from any wrestling organization, who would we pick?
All right, so I'm assuming D&D is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, oh, and Jeff's choices would be Asuka, Seth Rollins, Saya Kamatani. I hope I didn't fuck that up. I'm sorry, Jeff, if I did. Statlander and Malachi Black. Damn it, he took a couple of mine already. Damn.
Yeah, so I want to hear yours.
Well, I would have. I was gonna say Stat and Malachi already because I feel like that would be two wildly different ways of playing that game, which would be kind of fun. Who else? I feel like who would be kind of. I'd want to see Ricky Starks just to see how he would handle it because it would just be kind of funny just to see.
Oh, okay, okay.
So Stat, Malachi, Ricky. Mm, this is tough. Hmm. Brody King, because I feel like
Ooh.
he'd be kind of like a sneaky one where it's like you think he would just be like sitting there like all mean the whole time, but he would probably have a personality, so that would be one. That'd be another, and then I think I got one more. What the fuck ever. I'd put Dakota in there because I know how she acts when she plays video games, and it's funny to
Right.
watch. So I can imagine her actually having to act like that in like
Okay. So
not real life, but like D&D's a whole different animal. I just think it'd be kind of funny.
so how many people can you choose?
Well, we were told five, so
5? Okay, 5.
be
Okay.
from any
All
any
right.
promotion at all.
Okay. All right, so I'd go with CM Punk,
Okay, that'd be funny.
Seth Rollins because I know that would piss off CM Punk.
Yeah, drama.
Yeah, I like the drama. Austin Theory because I think Austin
Hmm.
Theory would be a good fodder and like you kind of assume he's a dumbass.
True, very true.
Um, so we got Punk, Rollins, Austin Theory, Nixon Newell, the former
Ooh,
Tegan Knox.
yeah,
Because I don't know if you've ever watched her on stream, but
I have a
she
wild
is
time.
hilarious.
She is. She really
Hilarious.
is.
Hilarious. So Punk, Rollins, Austin Theory, Nixon Newell, and Will Ospreay because I feel like his tism would just cause chaos
Oh,
and it would be fun to
yeah.
watch.
Yes, it would. See that could you imagine the 10 of those, our 10 picks combined being in the same room for D&D? That would just be
It'd be loud wrestler talk. It'd just be
oh,
loud
I would get so
wrestling.
overstimulated so quick. Like I'd have to leave the room. Like whoo, but
No,
it'd be fun.
we'd have to oversee. We'd have to basically babysit all of that.
Oh god, we'd have to be the dungeon masters. I don't know if we could do that.
I
You could
don't know.
maybe. I don't know
I
about
don't know.
me,
I
but
just let Punk and Rollins beat the hell out of each other.
and you're like, we're not
they
even
just
playing.
they just start chucking dice at each other.
They probably would too. Like I could fully see them doing that. Okay. Well, there we go. All right. So
That's a fun question.
that was a fun question. If I remember that was there, I would have saved that for last. But I think we got a good final question though. But so that was all Jeff's questions. So Jeff, thank you again. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. So we're finishing the show with Mom's questions today. So technically, I'm already like striking one of them out because we already talked about the Cena promo. Obviously, we thought it was great.
Everybody wants to know about the Cena promo.
Yeah.
I like okay, we talked about the semantics of the Cena promo, but
Hmm.
just watching the Cena promo,
It's so
um,
weird.
yeah, that I want. How did it make you? Because you basically like your fandom was from the start of John Cena to now.
Yes, it
So
was
you've
so
lit,
weird.
yeah, you've lit. Did it feel like you were one of the kids that he was saying "fuck you" to?
I felt
Like,
like I was in the Twilight Zone because I'm just like, I have not seen this kind of promo from him since like the Thugonomics days. So I'm like,
right.
this is just so fucking weird. Like this is just that uncanny valley thing of like, no, this is not what it's supposed to be. And then just like before he even got there out there, when his music hits and it's just booze, I'm like, what fucking reality are we living in right now? This doesn't seem right. This is a multiverse that I'd like to leave, but uh I
it
just
felt
can't.
like it felt like you were watching your parents get divorced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you're like,
Yeah,
and you're
like
like, and you're like, and you're like, is this my fault? And your dad's like, yes, this is
this
all of
is
your,
so
this is your
awful.
fault. This is all your fault. That's what it felt like, and
Ugh.
it was kind of uncomfortable because again, like you expected him to kind of play up the chicken shit, like guys, you don't understand. I
Yeah.
had to do what I had to do. He was just like, nah, I did it because I hate all of you.
Yeah,
And you're
because
just like,
fuck all of you.
whoa, yeah, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute, buddy, come on now. And it's just like, you know, like you said, the booze kind of take it back to the old days where people were just hating John Cena to hate John Cena. And it just
Yeah.
honestly, like I said earlier in the show, it makes me wonder, what is the real John Cena? Is it the John Cena that has always been respectful and has taken time out to be kind and generous with his time with the fans? Was that all just the act? Did he go home and just go, I hate doing this shit. I
Yeah.
hate interacting with these people. They
Hmm.
all suck. They all smell. Like, what is the real John Cena? You know, because
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
because like, how do you approach John Cena if you ever get to meet John Cena?
Yeah,
Is
what
he
do you
the
do now?
same? Yeah, is he the same nice John Cena that has always been kind and generous with his time to respectful fans, or is he going to be the jerk that we saw on Monday Night Raw? This is crazy. I don't know if I can live in a world like this.
I don't know. I hate it. I hate it, and I don't want to be here anymore. I can't can't do it anymore. Um. All right. So her next question was: do we think the favor that CM Punk has is that Paul Heyman is in his corner for WrestleMania?
Mm.
See, I went even above that. I think his favor is that you'll get me in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, but then that all is, it all depends on what they deem is the main event of WrestleMania. They would have to really work hard to make that triple threat idea, because we don't even know if it's a triple threat anyway. So they
Yeah.
would have to, if they go that route, they would have to really sell us on this is the match that everybody wants to see, which I know they can do, but it's going to be really hard to do when you have John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and we still haven't seen any of the Rock's involvement in any of this.
Yeah,
I
but you
think
still got
somebody,
night one though.
yeah, yeah, you also have night one. Yeah, yeah. So it could either main event night one or night two. I wouldn't mind seeing it main event night one.
Yeah. That's what I
You know,
honestly thought was going to happen anyway. I mean, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves with one of the questions, but I always just assumed it was going to main event night one because
right?
why wouldn't it? But
But that's an even bigger wrinkle. Instead of, asking for the main event, what if you get the main event, but then your favor is like, hey, be in my corner instead of, it's like
yeah,
it's
the
like
drama. You just love the
yeah,
drama. Just say it. You just live for the drama.
it's like, do I go with my son Roman Reigns, or do
Yeah.
I go with my adoptive son in CM Punk? So
which
like,
kid do you love
yeah,
more? Like,
you have to literally pick which kid do you love more in this situation, and I love that. I love that. I
tearing a
love that.
family apart.
I love that so much because it's basically saying, which one of your sons do you love more? Do you love CM
It's
Punk more, or do you love
diabolical.
Roman Reigns more? I love it. I love that.
It's
Oh, that's
diabolical. Again,
that's
you're just living for the drama tonight, aren't you?
that is fantastic.
It's just oh my god, we really do want all the drama. That's just pretty much ours. We just live for it. Alrighty, so what has been our favorite promo this year so far in WWE and AEW?
Ooh.
Um, WWE has to be that promo before the Rumble with Cody and Punk. Like that
Ooh, yep.
was insane. It's just like that was one of those where it's like, okay, Punk has to win now. Like Punk's got to win
Yeah.
now because I need to see this happen. Unfortunately, we know it didn't, but still, it made you believe. It made you believe there was a little bit of a chance, but
Mhm.
it was just so good. AEW though. I'm trying to remember if there really has been one. Um, hmm. I mean, Osprey's on Dynamite was pretty good this past week. Um, Mainly because they couldn't do anything else with half the roster because they were all, on death's door from Revolution. But I feel like I'm gonna.
AEW's tough.
I mean, I feel like this is somewhat okay. This is fully cheating. I'm just gonna say it, and if she gets mad at me, then whatever. I'll deal with it this weekend. But probably in most recent memory, let's just put it that way, was, and this is just going to sound really silly, but it was a random, maybe not random, it was a collision when they were doing it in that, like, what was it? Like it was in Texas, I think. It was at, like, Sports Dome, whatever the hell it was. You know what I'm talking about, though, where they had
Right,
those
yeah.
collisions. When Mariah May had that one, like, essentially squash match, and then Tony came up on the screen and they did that, like, build up for the match at All In, and it was um like the very ending, it was literally pretty much like kind of went into comedy at first a little bit and then like went into full like drama. And I just remember the very last like part of that where she's like, All In or London's waiting, let's give him a show. And I'm like, I can't fucking wait for this match. I don't think I could have like
Mhm.
wanted to see that match anymore, but that whole promo, that little video package was just like, sign me the fuck up for this match. I
Yeah.
even go back and watch it occasionally because it was just so well done. I mean, we could praise RJ City until like until the cows come home, but it was just that one is in most recent memory was probably one of my favorite promos, just for the, not even just the grandness of it all. I just thought it was really well done and it was clearly memorable because I still think about it, and that was like how many months ago. So that probably would be my pick, even though it technically didn't happen this year, but oh well.
Mhm. You kind of not necessarily stole my picks, but close.
Ah,
I also picked the same promo for WWE, but for me, the reason I picked that promo is because of Cody's line in the promo where he asks CM Punk, like, "You're my friend, aren't you, Punk?"
yeah.
Like, because but the way he delivered that line after he just got his ass beat, and it was
Hmm.
almost like he was like drunk in a state of delusion,
Yeah.
and he's realizing that everybody's coming for him for that title, and he's just like, do I have anybody that
Yeah.
has my back here? Is there anybody here that cares for my well-being? And so when he delivered that line to CM Punk, like, you're my friend, aren't you, Punk? And Punk's like, yeah, I'm your friend, but I'm still gonna stab you in the front and beat your ass to get that
Yeah.
title. And it was just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's good TV. Um, I also chose a Mariah promo, but or not a Mariah promo, or a Tony promo, but it
Mhm.
was more recent. It was the promo before Revolution where they were having that sit down interview with Renee Paquette, and
Ooh, yes.
Mariah spits in Tony's face
Yeah.
right off the rip. So I'm assuming that Tony's gonna get up and just start wailing away at Mariah, because that's what you would do if somebody hocked a loogie in your
Yeah.
face. Like, you get up and you fight them. She doesn't. She basically tells Mariah that Mariah's gonna die within her own mediocrity.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this lady
Like,
on?
no, I fully remember that one too. I can't believe I forgot that one because at the very end, I remember Renee's like, "I hope you two don't kill each other," or "I pray that none of you come out seriously injured," and both of them at the same time are like, "Pray for her." I'm like,
Yeah, that's the
"Oh,
thing. Like,
yeah,
her promos are so thought out, but they're so dark.
yes,
Her promos are so fucking dark that if you're into dark imagery and macabre and all that sort of stuff, like me, that like tickles you. You
yeah,
know, like, it
yep,
literally scratches a part of my brain anytime Tony Storm cuts a promo. 'Cause, I mean, remember when she talked about sleeping with her demons and stuff like
yeah."
that? Like, she is just on another. She's the best promo. She's better than Will Ospreay in AEW. She's the best promo in AEW.
Yeah, bar none. I can't believe I forgot that one. How could I fucking forget that one? And I on it, and I literally remember too. And I'm glad that we actually brought this up because I wanted to talk about it when it happened, but we never got a question about it. I love the fact that the juxtaposition between those two from the first part of this feud to now, because when it first happened and Mariah stabbed her in the back, Tony was the one that was like distraught and emotional and in like a frenzy over this whole thing. And then as
Hmm.
soon as Mariah loses that title, Mariah loses her fucking mind. And Tony's
Yeah.
just sitting there, just cool, not giving a shit. It's like, huh, the roles have reversed.
Yeah.
The turntables have turned. I'm like, all
It,
right,
it,
that's cool.
it really shows that, like, the leg up that Tony has on Mariah is that Tony can handle the pressure of being the champion.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, maybe Mariah was always very paranoid as
yeah.
champion.
Hmm.
She was a great champion. She defended the title valiantly, but she was always a paranoid champion.
Well,
Tony,
look at her thing with Mina. Remember, she's like, I just did it because what else was I supposed to do?
exactly, that's a perfect example of her paranoia.
Hmm.
But Tony's always been very calm, cool, and collected. She's always waited for the attack to come to her, and she doesn't necessarily, like, her attack back is always been methodical. It's never
Yes.
been impulsive or
Hmm.
based off of emotion. It's always been very strategic. Again, this is why the Tony Mariah story is the best story in AEW, because it has character development within the story, like you would see on any big drama, any big book that's very popular these days, any fictional stories that are being told, anything like that. That drama is built in, and it's that character
Hmm.
development that people are looking forward to in their stories now.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty safe to say, like you said, it is probably AEW's best story that they've ever done. Period. It'd be
Yeah.
very
Oh
hard to
yeah.
argue against it. So, yeah, I cannot believe I forgot that promo. I feel so silly now. All right, I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna just say that was it too, mainly because we've just been talking about it. But yeah, it's just it's always a good time. Like when Tony's on the screen and she has a mic in her hand, you're gonna shut up and listen
Yeah,
because
it's
you have
because
to.
she's gonna deliver the smartest, most darkest thing you've ever heard.
Yeah,
And it's just gonna be like, she's a time traveling vampire.
yeah,
That's what she
yeah,
is. She
pretty
really is.
much.
she's a time traveling vampire because she's completely enveloped in this time dark, like it's just so dark. It's
Yeah.
dark.
Oh yeah.
Everything she says is dark.
Yeah, and it's one of those where, like, you had mentioned, if you and I have like a dark, twisted kind of sense of humor, you even hear the thing she says, and you're like, I can't believe she really just said that. She
Yeah.
really just said that and said it in just like a, not a monotone, but just a very like even keeled, like, I'm
Like
gonna
it's
like
part of regular conversation.
yeah, it's like that's like my mom always likes to call it, because I guess I supposedly have these kind of like moments too where I'll say something and it just catches somebody off guard. She said it's like
Right.
the sniper from the roof moment. Tony
Yeah.
is full of sniper from the roof moments where you just hear it and you're like, wait, did she really just say that?
Yeah. Your mom has definitely described you like that to me. She's definitely said that's why I call Shay the sniper.
because it just happens sometimes, or I don't know. I guess it's
Your
just,
your brain moves faster than your mind, so you just say the shit and you're like, "Oh, probably shouldn't have said that out loud."
or I just say something in like a sarcastic way where I know that I said it. I just want to see if it takes you a little bit to figure it out. And then you're like, wait a minute, do you say that? I'm like, yeah, I just said that. Like,
See,
I get
my
some
problem
zingers in
is
there.
my problem is if I know it's gonna get a laugh, like if I know it's gonna get a reaction, I don't care how fucked up it is, I'm saying it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I've literally, like, people have said, like, you're gonna die, and when you get to heaven, it's just gonna be a flight of stairs that is just gonna be endless, and you're
Yeah.
never gonna get up to, because
Literally.
some of the dark things you have said, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's comes to a point where you're like try to deny it, and you're like, no, my mental is really not good. Like,
No.
it's coming from a dark place.
Yeah, but that's why we get along. We have the same kind of
Yeah,
sense of humor.
exactly.
I mean, for the most part, there are some jokes that you do not, you don't
No,
understand, unfortunately.
no,
But
like Shay really is a sniper in every sense of the word, where she catches me off guard, and it's just like, and then she laughs about it while you're in a state of confusion, you're
yeah,
scared, you don't know
you're
what just
scared.
happened, and she's laughing at you like, "Oh, you didn't get the joke. Okay." And
Eh.
then she doesn't tell you what the joke is. She just lets it go.
No, I told you what the joke was. You just
She
didn't
lets you
wait.
she lets you sit in the misery first,
Yes, I let
and
you
lets
panic for a minute.
a minute. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Okay, a couple messages worth of
Yeah.
texting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought it was over.
Yeah. I was like, and I'm just sitting there laughing on my couch, just like, okay, I need to pity him for a minute so he
Oh
doesn't like
yeah,
burst into
yeah.
tears or something, but
I
it's
was
fine.
close. I was close.
I'm sorry, but it was too fucking funny. I couldn't pass it up. But
I know when your mom is gonna listen to this, she's gonna be cracking up.
yeah, it's one of those, unfortunately for the listeners, an inside joke where
Yeah.
it's only between you and I, but maybe someday
This
we'll explain it. But
this is after 150 episodes, because this is episode 150. So it's
yeah.
been 150 episodes of inside joke and paranoia on my end.
All right. Well, you're welcome. I just like to keep you on your toes.
Thank you.
Of course. Of course. Alrighty, so Mom thought NXT was a really good show last week, which I agree. That Stephanie and Julia match was just
Yeah, and when she went for that spiral tap, and then Julia caught her and put her in
yeah,
that triangle, I was just like, "Oh,
loved
this
it.
is so good.
That was so
This is so."
clean.
Yeah, it was just, they are phenomenal, phenomenal professional wrestlers.
They are. I just felt bad that they had to rush it because of Julia's I think I said injury and visa issues. So it's a shame that they didn't really get to like build this up more. It was just one
Right.
of those matches where thankfully it didn't matter how long or how little they had to build it up. It was still a fantastic match. It's just a shame. We should have gotten a
I,
little more story, but obviously I know
I'm
circumstances are
I'm
different.
telling you, when Stephanie gets to the main roster,
Who
she is going to be as big, if not bigger, than Rhea Ripley.
yeah. Hey, all
I'm
right, bookmark this. Episode
I'm
150.
I'm I'm telling you right now, she's when Stephanie Vaquer gets to the main roster, she's gonna be as big or even bigger than Rhea Ripley, because they're gonna look at her and then they're gonna go, "Whoa!" and then they're
Yeah.
gonna see the way she works in the ring. Like, we're gonna have to get a Booker T voiceover for when she does that leg lock head smash,
Uh-huh.
because it's gold. It's literally, I crack up every single time. I don't know why he does it. I don't know why Booker is Booker, but like, oh my god,
Just
it's just
him.
hilarious. He's just Booker. But
Just
I'm
Booker.
telling you, she just has that vibe, man. Like, she's just cool. Like,
She
she's
is.
just like, and the music is cool. She
Yeah.
comes out with the horns, and she's got all these cool moves that she does in the ring, and she just like, she has that smirk of hers, that like, she knows she's a badass. Like, I'm telling you, she's gonna be a big star. She's gonna be as big as Rhea Ripley, if not bigger. And then when they put Rhea Ripley and Stephanie Victor in a match,
Yeah.
whew,
Oof.
oh my god.
Like, oh, I just. Uh,
We're being spoiled.
we really are. It's great. It's a great
Yeah,
time.
it is.
All right, and our final question of the night is who closes out both nights of WrestleMania in our opinion?
Mm,
Well, I mean, Cody and Cena have got a main event night too. I mean, I feel like that one's pretty
yeah,
much guaranteed.
I'm gonna piss people off because I'm not gonna pick the ladies.
I said it was either going to be between that one or Rollins and Punk, at least for right now. I feel like it's going to be that one anyway, because I think it's just the more compelling story that doesn't really need people to be convinced that, oh yeah, this absolutely is like the thing, which is a shame
Mm,
because the women would put on a great match. It's just right now the storyline's a little fluky for me.
mm,
So
right. I mean,
yeah,
and I feel like Triple H, uh, sort of quelled the situation as best he could when he said, "We're not putting the women in the main event just to put the women in the main event to check off boxes.
yeah,
We put the women in the main event because they deserve to be in the main event. What deserves to be in the main event is the best story." And logically thinking, if WrestleMania were tomorrow,
yeah,
there's no way you could tell me that the women's story with Io as champion, as good as that match will be, whatever match comes out of it is going to be great. It's not going to be better than whatever situation that involves Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
yeah.
Like,
Like,
mind you, we were all expecting to get Cody Roman 3, and we're way off that path.
oh yeah, not even
Yeah,
close.
yeah, we're not even in that world right now. So imagine, like, eventually they'll have to circle back to it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
how they circle back to it is going to be the crazier thing. And it
hmm
all is going to start to involve CM Punk and Seth Rollins. This is deep. This is deep. This is the story. You can't tell me that this story is not as good as Rhea, Io, and Bianca. And I mean, I'm entertained when Io can smack the hell out of him and tell him, "Look,
yeah,
I'm the champion." When she did that, I started kicking my feet like a schoolgirl, because that's how, like, I was like, yes, like, they're all just in there for themselves, and they've been the top dogs of the women division. And here's Io, who got her big moment, and they're just gonna phase her out like she's not even worthy of the attention. And she goes to them and smacks the shit out of them. I'm like, hell yeah, I want Io to win whatever match happens.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest you don't want to get the internet wrestling community pissed off, but I'm not going to be surprised that people are going to be furious if the women don't main event, but it's just like, guys, Triple H flat out told you what the plan was going to be. He pretty much said if the women storyline calls for it, it will. If there's something more compelling, that's going to be the main event. It's just like you're not going to put the women in the main event just for the sake of it. It's
Yeah, I
just
and
ugh.
and I can't speak for you, obviously, but you wouldn't want it that way, would you? As a woman?
No, I don't want it to be like, oh, well, it's just obligatory because whatever. But and this is the tough part too, where it's like, then they need to stop saying at the Rumble, oh, the woman who wins the Rumble gets the main event WrestleMania. Because you know for a fact Tiffany and Charlotte aren't fucking anywhere close to the main event on either of those nights. So it's
Hmm.
like, stop touting that. Is that your thing? Because I think that's the thing that pisses more people off. Where it's like, okay, well, the men's Rumble winner automatically pretty much main events WrestleMania. So why shouldn't the women? So you kind of can't have it both ways. I mean, I get where if the storyline calls for it, yes, put them in a main event, but also don't say in the same breath, oh well, the women's Rumble winner main events WrestleMania, even though
Right,
she's
right,
not. So it's like you can't have it both ways. You have to
right.
like pick a lane. But either way, if I were just to guess, though, I'd still think it's going to be Punk and Rollins and possibly Roman. I just think that's a more compelling story that doesn't really need me to be convinced to
Yeah.
that this is legit storylines. So
I just want there to be a good show. I don't care what match goes on when. The
yeah,
matches so far right now are advertised, all look like bangers. I feel like the potential matchups that they have set all look like bangers, so I am happy with whatever is going to happen on the show.
I just hope everyone has fun.
Yeah, I just like it's just it's we're in a weird part of the world where everything needs to be analyzed, and if something is supposed to be fun and entertaining, first we have to analyze why we would hate it. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like everybody's looking for a reason to hate something, that they have to break it down, and whatever little minor thing that may not seem perfect to them, they have to amplify it into this big thing. It's not going to matter when Io and Bianca go on and if they involve Rhea Ripley. It just matters that the fact that this match is going to happen, and most likely it's going to be a good one. So why can't we just be happy with that?
yeah. Exactly. Just enjoy things, guys. Please. That's all we
Just
ask.
just enjoy things.
Just enjoy things. That's all we ask
Ah,
for. But
man, ay ay ay.
it's just asking too much,
Uh,
obviously. But
I guess so.
well. Anyways, though, so that was our last question of the night. So we are
All
done.
right. This was a fun episode. I mean, they're all fun, but
Yeah.
especially this one being episode 150. We like to tout the fact that we've been doing this since June of 2021 and we have no intention of stopping.
Nope.
Uh, yeah, thank you guys for always providing us such great content. Without you guys and asking your questions, we really wouldn't have a show, because then it would be like us trying to figure out, well, what do you want to talk about this week? And
Yeah.
it's just, rather than do that, we let you guys tell us what you want to hear. So we really appreciate you guys contributing to the show. And I tell everybody, because oftentimes we get a lot of people who say, well, I want to ask a question, I'm just too nervous, I don't know what to ask. We're not, you don't have to be an expert, and it doesn't have to
No.
be anything pertaining to what's happening now. It could just be a regular wrestling question. We
Yeah.
love those just as much. So we want people to feel comfortable and feel like they're a part of something. So never ever be afraid or worried that your question won't want to be answered on the show. We obviously, by now 150 episodes in, you realize we answer every single question
Yep.
that comes our way. You know,
Everyone.
even the ones that are repeats, we still answer
Yeah.
those, again, because we just like to give everybody the time. But again, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably on a platform. But if you're not on the platform of your choice, all you got to do is search Ringside Rundown and then hit that follow or subscribe button. And when you do, you won't miss an episode. So hopefully you have chosen to follow and subscribe by now. If not, this podcast is available on any platform you can find a podcast on, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Audible, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, it should be available. If not, you can hit us up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Ringside Rundown. Shoot us a DM, let us know what platform you use, but make sure you give us back the silver platter that the link comes on, because it belongs to Shay's mom, and she's been training with Malachi Black at
Yeah.
his wrestling school. She's learned some moves. She's super lethal. So you want to give that silver platter back in mint condition. Don't mess it up, because she's got this chop to the neck that'll
Yeah.
put you out.
It'll completely knock you out.
Yeah, Shay's felt it once or twice in her life.
Yeah, blacking out for that long is not a fun experience, guys. So just bring it back, please.
Yeah, just bring it back. but it'll have a link of whatever platform you use, so that way you can follow along and never miss an episode of the Ringside Rundown. Like I said, we're available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Ringside Rundown. All episodes are also available on YouTube with our short form content at Ringside Run Pod. And if you want to hang out with me while watching Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, or Collision, I do live watch alongs on both Twitch and YouTube. I already gave you the YouTube link, but the Twitch link is twitch.tv/ringside rundown. Come join the fun. We've been killing it on YouTube with over 1,500 subscribers.
Nice.
I posted up a clip. I don't know if you saw that Shibata clip where he smacks Ricochet in the back of the head that I posted.
Oh, yeah.
I posted that on Facebook, and it has close to 500,000 likes. So
It's insane.
yeah, so I think we went viral on wrestling Facebook.
Hey,
So
good
that's
job.
pretty awesome. So come join the Ringside Rundown on Facebook. We love to have you on all our links. Just make sure you come hang out with us, and especially on Twitch, twitch.tv/ringside rundown. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on Twitter at ShayleneHickson21. Talking about a lot of things. It just depends on the day, pretty much. But I mean, I think I've been done screaming about the Spirit Box album for now, until I see them next month. So that'll probably change. But
Make sure you get a lot of pictures.
oh, I will. I mean, we're not too close. I mean, we're not in the pit, thank God, because I don't want to get taken out. But
Just see if you can like meet Courtney, and then like get her
wish.
sent in like an envelope or a
Here,
Ziploc bag.
send it to you
Yeah, and send it to me. I would like that very much.
for research purposes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
I'll see
What
what I can do.
else? Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
You're such a
I'll
good
see.
friend.
Yeah, I do what I can.
All right, so yeah, definitely go check out Shay. Next week we'll have another episode filled with more of your questions. So get your wrestling questions ready for us, and we will have this episode for you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Ringside Rundown. We appreciate all of your support, and we shall see you on the next episode. Take care, guys.
See you later, guys.